Thanks to the support as a channel member, Nick Collard. Boys and girls, it's fair to say you're a little bit excited about Non-League to Legend being back. As I record this, I've not even released the first video yet, but it's sat there on YouTube as a premiere. The chat is buzzing. The comments are buzzing. Twitter will not stop. There is a buzz. So I'm going to assume that we hit our 5,000 like target and record this as if it's coming out on Tuesday evening. If it's Wednesday now, much sadness for all of us. Let's face it, you know full well I'm recording 2 intros and the right video will release. But let's do another like target. Like targets are fun. Let's say 3,000 likes on this video just to keep that momentum going. Momentum is good. The more likes, the more eyes on the video. The more eyes on the video, the more popular the series is. And that makes me happy. I like to be happy. Should we go and see all these players I've signed? Hello and welcome to part 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on this video, I'm going to show you through our ins and outs over the summer. There has been some outs, but also lots and lots of ins, as you would expect. And we're also going to play our first 2 games of the new season. We're at home against Stratford in the FA Cup. I think that's the second qualifying round. And then our first league game away against Alfreton, one of the previous teams we've started at in Non-League to Legend a few years ago. But we're going to start with transfers because, as mentioned, there's a lot going on. As you can see, I'm looking to bring in a few loans now. I think my squad's about there, but I started looking at a few loans and realised that clubs aren't asking for wages anymore. I think that might be the whole pandemic financial situation thing, because in the past, even at this level, it was quite rare if you didn't have a parent club to find a loan where you don't have to make a financial contribution. But we've got loads. We've had loads to choose from, to the point where I perhaps didn't need to sign quite as many players as I have. But as you can see, we have brought in a few. As far as Sam Jones, they're the ones that were brought in before I arrived, but everyone after him is new. So we're going to go through them super quick. Obviously, if you want to have a look at their attributes and stuff in more detail, just pause and you can have a little look at those. But the ones that are any good, we'll get to know them as the season goes on. So this is Levan Brandy, who's an 18-year-old right winger. They're all going to have decent ability, decent potential. We're quite a low reputation side, so it's quite easy to identify young players that are probably going to improve what we've already got. We've got Phoenix Patterson, who's a left winger. So that's a left winger and a right winger. This guy has come in from Tottenham. Owen Moore is a 21-year-old right back who has come in from Brighton. We've also got Ted Moulden, who's a 19-year-old right back, or really probably a centre back. He's 6 foot tall and natural at centre back as well. He's come in from Bolton. If you've had any of these players in your own saves or previously played for your own club, let me know if they're any good, because I don't really know at this stage. Lawrence Wooten is a 20-year-old central midfielder who's previously of Stoke and Cardiff. James Boot is a 20-year-old central midfielder. He's previously of Bournemouth and a loan spell at Poole. We've then got Petar Durin, who's a 19-year-old Croatian goalkeeper. Work permits don't become a thing just yet. Actually, to be fair, I think he doesn't have English as a second nationality. It's going to be interesting because we have had the Brexit announcement. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out when it comes to the end of the season and maybe renewing his contract. And I guess he'll get the already in exemption. Ryan Clark is a 19-year-old left winger to give us a little bit more depth out on that left-hand side. He's also in from Tottenham. Ryan O'Sullivan is a 21-year-old left back who is in from Brighton via Worthing and Carshalton. And Denilson Carvalho is someone I've signed in Non-League to Legend before. I always like to sign him just because his name's Denilson Carvalho and he's Brazilian and he's 21. I like to start as I mean to go on. Young Brazilians who are much better than anyone else we've got at the club is always a good starting point. He's formerly of Arsenal, Watford and Huddersfield, but never actually played a game for any of them. Archie Edwards is another left back. Kev, why are you signing so many left backs when your best player you showed us in the last episode was a left back? We'll get to that. And then Zico Asare is the 19-year-old centre-back, a 5'9" centre-back. Like I say, start as you mean to go on. He's in from Fulham. And we've also brought our first loan in, which is Adam Senior, another centre-back, this time actually centre-back height at 6'2". He's in on loan for the season from Bolton. We have managed to sell a few players as well, actually get some money in. Not much, but Michael Richards has gone to TNS for £120. Connor Kennedy has gone to Larne for 1.5k, and we've also let Michael McGrath go to Dulwich Hamlet on a free transfer. All three of those were earning more money than I was comfortable paying them based on how much I expected to use them. But the big news is, where is he? He's not, why isn't he showing on the free transfers? Released players? There he is. Johnny Hunt, the player who was identified as our best player in the last episode, has been released on a free transfer. Why, you ask? Because he's got a hip injury and is going to be out for up to 7 months and was taking £450 out of our wage budget every week. He actually wasn't, but because of the way budgeting works in FM, it was a complicated one. He was on a non-contract basis, a £500 appearance fee and plus some other bits as well. But it meant it was having a real detrimental impact on our wage budget. So we just decided to cut him loose. He wasn't going to play until after Christmas, bring in a couple more left backs and just pretend he never existed. We are a little bit over our wage budget at the moment, spending just under £7,000 with a budget of just under £6,000. But there are a few players I'm still trying to get rid of. So I'm hoping if the 4 or 5 I'm trying to get rid of go, we'll be roughly back to balancing the books. And we've got a couple of loans coming in that aren't going to cost us anything as well. So yes, we've gone a little bit mad with transfers, but you know what? I think we've put together a really decent side. This is with our squad depth filtered to a 3-star current ability. You can see we've got decent depth in most positions other than at the back where we're trying to bring in a few more. I actually think we're going to be using this system because of Carvalho. He came in really to play on either wing, but as the pre-season's gone on, the more I've decided to just use him as an attacking midfielder. It's his natural position. And although we had a lot of strikers in the club initially, actually as we've gone and signed 3.5, 4-star players in lots of other positions, although we've still got 4 3-star strikers, they're actually not as good as some of the players we've got in these attacking midfield and central midfield positions now. So to me, it now makes sense to go with 5 men here and just pick one of them. And if we can find a superstar striker at some point, we will. But for now, we're going to go with this. So this is the system that we're going to use for the Stratford game, our first game of non-league to legend this year. It's based on a gegenpress with a couple of tweaks here and there and a lot of tweaks to positional roles to try and suit the players that we've got. But we're going with Adam Collin in goal, a back 4 of Archie Edwards, who's one of my new signings. We've got Adam Senior, who's the new player who's just come in on loan from Bolton. Ted Malden, another one of my new signings. We've got lots of debuts today. And Owen Moore at right back. A complete set of debuts in our back 4. Central midfield, it's more of the same. Lawrence Wooten, we've just met. And also, we've got James Boot in there, both new signings as well. And then new signings across the attacking midfield 3 as well. Phoenix Patterson on the left, Denilson Carvalho in the middle, and Levan Brandy on the right. And the only player, other than the goalkeeper who was already here at the start of the save, is Dakari Sheriff, although he's actually a new signing for Kettering this summer as well. In fact, I think Colin is too. I think this is 11 debuts. This is 11 debuts. This is going to go really, really well. The only thing we've got going in our favour is that Stratford are down deep below us. So hopefully they're a team we should be able to beat, even with 11 debuts. Never change, Kev. Never change. Go to match, and let's hopefully put on a decent performance. We're lucky enough to be at home. It's the FA Cup to start us off with competitive football, so it's less important than the league is. Although, of course, in the league you can mess up initially and kind of get away with it a little bit. Whereas in the FA Cup, if we mess up now, that's our cup run gone for the season. And cup runs are really important to club finances at this level. Did you see what I did there, by the way? You can extend the tablet now, which you weren't able to do during the beta, and I think that's really exciting. The only problem is, certainly when I was doing it on stream last night, it was going back to the small one in between each highlight, so I don't know if they maybe need to give it a little bit of a tweak. What is going on with this goalkeeper? There we go. We eventually get the goal kick. We're the team in red, by the way. We are the red team. Edwards in with a good tackle. Edwards looks tall. We've signed a lot of short defenders, but Edwards looks tall. I like it. Stratford getting a little bit too much of the ball for my taste here, though. But Carvalho intercepts, and we're going to be looking for a big performance from Carvalho today to justify this switch we've made fairly late in pre-season. We did the majority of our pre-season with a 4-2-4, and it's quite late on that we've decided to switch out to the 4-2-3-1 to try and get the best out of Carvalho. So we need to get the best out of Carvalho, or we're going to switch back and go with something a little bit more non-league, where we're using a 4-2-4 with a wing play instruction. There you go. There's your confirmation. The tablet still goes back to the smaller version. We've won a penalty here, though, I think. We're not going to have any VAR nonsense at this level. So we just, if the ref says penalty, you get a penalty. And for the opportunity for our first goal of the entire save, it's Sheriff, and he scores, and it's Kettering 1, Stratford 0. And look, we've got fans on terraces behind the goal. It's a beautiful thing. Hopefully I'll get an opportunity at some point this year to head down to Kettering for a game the way I have with Nuneaton and Kings Lynn previously. Obviously, with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, it's a little bit trickier to do that, but the club have already reached out for me today and invited me along to do that as soon as I can. So fingers crossed, we'll be able to head down to Kettering at some point and go and check out a match and meet some of these players and have a similar reaction to what I got at Kings Lynn last year, where none of them liked me because I sold them all really early on in the save. And we've done a similar thing here. It's how you do, National League North, and Sheriff's in again. And that is a tidy finish. We might have our first hero of non-league to legend this year. Dakari Sheriff has started very brightly. A penalty and now a very tidy finish. It's Phoenix Patterson on the left-hand side who played it back for the ball over the top from Edwards. And Sheriff is there I mean, it's a good finish. It is a very good finish. And at 2-0, I'm feeling quite comfortable that we're not going to mess this up, hopefully. I think we do need to adjust. Okay, I was going to try and adjust the tablet, but now I can't because it's half time. Let's tell the players they've done well. Apparently I can't do that with, actually I can do it, but my assistant manager's telling there's room for improvement. You know what? I'll go for that even more. We'll pump our fists and say, let's do even better. I'm always up for that. Right, we're going to adjust this around. If we can't leave this out here, by having it like that, which is the default, we're not actually getting any of the opposition instructions on. So let's give this a little bit of a tweak. So if we have both teams up there, hopefully it's actually going to save these settings between matches. And then we can put what can we put down here? Because I'm conscious my face is going to be in the way of whatever's down there. So if we put the match stats, we've already got match stats on the other side. We don't need match stats on here. We can put league table when the time comes. So we'll leave match stats there for now, but it will become league table when we're in the league. And latest scores can go there. Then when we stretch this out, what does it add in? Another Stratford formation. So, you know what? This is confusing me now. So this is the one that we don't need. How is everyone else having loads of fun trying to sort out their touchline tablet? Oh, the things we have to go through. There you go. We'll have a shot map. I can't imagine I would ever want a shot map, but obviously in a normal league game, the league table would be on there. Right, we've done a long throw here. It wasn't a particularly effective one, and it's actually left us in a little bit of a pickle as Stratford look to launch a counter-attack, but luckily they've done it so slowly we've won the ball back off them, and it's Wooten in midfield to boot. Back to Wooten again, who is just, I mean, we're keeping the ball under control quite nicely. And Malden with the ball forward, looking for Sheriff. It gets absolutely nowhere near him. That's going to be the problem with playing one up front at this level. The instinct for defenders at this level is often going to be lump the ball forward. And if you've only got one striker and he's not a big target man, he's going to be quite hard to find. But when you do find him, if he's a finisher like that, he'll score, although he's offside for that one, which I feel that's a little bit harsh. Can we have VAR back after all? And we are actually getting a replay, even though obviously you wouldn't get one in. He is miles offside. Not even close. Oh my goodness. We are playing well though. The one downer, I guess, is our right back's not having a very good game. And right back is the one position I've really tweaked outside of the gegenpress, because the natural gegenpress that you get in the game really encourages both fullbacks to push forward. Owen Moore really isn't the guy to do that. He's very much a no-nonsense defender. So we'll see how he gets on. If he really can't play in this system, we might end up having to just let him go, force him to go forward as a wing back anyway, even though theoretically it doesn't suit him. But we're just going to make a couple of changes there. Asari can come on at left back, and we'll just go for a normal winger in the shape of Clark on that left-hand side as we enter the final 20 minutes of the game. I think we're going to drop a little bit of praise, because I think although we probably could and maybe should have looked for a more dominant display than this one, a win's a win in your first competitive game, and I'm never going to complain about it. We don't have a central midfielder on the bench. Whose idea was this? We'll take off Carvalho, bring on Sam Jones in there, because although he's primarily a striker, he can play in that attacking midfield spot as well. So we'll just slot him in there for the last couple of minutes. We've certainly played well according to XG. It would be nice to grab a third goal though, as a bit of a icing on the cake, a cherry atop the icing, atop the cake. That's what we're looking for here. But unless this free kick goes in, it doesn't look like it's coming. It's going to be Malden to take. We've got a centre-back who can hit a free kick. This is fantasy land. No, it is not fantasy land. It was a very poor attempt at a free kick. It goes wide. And I think that's probably going to be the final highlight of the game, although it is continuing with 30 seconds left on the clock. Clark plays it into Edwards. Edwards finds Clark again. We are going to get another opportunity here. We've got Sheriff waiting in the middle. We didn't find him. And now Stratford have the ball back. And surely now we are just waiting for a full-time whistle. But we have lumped the ball over the top again for Brandy to chase. He gets nowhere near it. I'm so glad they left this. Tell me they've not brought back kick-off and full-time highlights. It was so nice throughout FM20 not having the meaningless highlight you got at the end of the game just so you could watch the final whistle blow. If that's been brought back, I'm going to be horrified because I think that's what we've just experienced. Either way, it was a good win. We are going to be paying very close attention to the next match just to make sure that we don't have a full-time highlight. There you go. We're bringing in some trials as well. So there might even be couple of new signings before we play that first league game. We started with a win. What more could we ask for? So as promised, we've had some loans come in before the Alfreton game. Senior was already here, but we've now added Tom Armitage, who's a left back on loan from Burton for the season. We've also got Slavi Spasov, who's an 18-year-old Bulgarian under-21 international who's currently away doing international football, don't you know? The exciting thing about him is he's a 4-star current ability player with the potential to play in the championship in the future. I think we might have a proper star on our hands there, a very quick, proper pressing forward, advance forward kind of striker that you know is going to be the kind of player I'm going to enjoy playing. He's on loan from Oxford for the year. Sam Perry's a box-to-box midfielder on loan from Walsall. These are all season-long loans. And Joe Dunn is a centre-back who's come in from Rochdale. So a couple of changes to the team with a couple of those players being thrown straight into the team, or one of those players particularly, Sam Perry is in. He's going to play in central midfield alongside Boot, with Wooten dropping down to the bench. We've also switched things up a little bit at the back with Zico Asare coming in to play at centre-back, our 5'9" centre-back. Owen Moore also moving into centre-back. Ted Malden playing right-back. The thing with all three of these is all three of them can play centre-back and right-back equally adeptly, although I'm looking at these two as a centre-back partnership. He's 5'8". He's 5'9". We might be making a little change here. He's 6 foot tall. I mean, I don't think it will hurt to do that, will it? That probably makes quite a lot of sense. We're unchanged going forward, though, where we have looked very good. The new guy, Spasov, not fit, or he is fit, but he's currently travelling, so he can't come into the team today. So Sheriff gets to start again, as he would have anyway, after scoring 2 goals in the last game. And Jones gets to be the backup striker for today. I'm looking through that Alfreton team, trying to see if there's anybody left from when we were there a few years ago. No, I don't think there is. The turnover of players at this level. People often say, Kev, you signed too many players. You've churned through the players too quickly. I refer you to that. We managed Alfreton 2 years ago at the start of non-league to legend. I don't think there's a single player left. So you're going to get some player turnover at this level. And we're just accelerating that process a little bit because we wanted a team of youngsters, not a team of old men. That's how we do things. Non-league to legend. It's the non-league to legend babysitting club. That's what we're known as. We get government grants for looking after keeping these kids off the streets during the day, so they don't have to be in childcare. It's all part of the long-term financial plan. Right, we can now tweak this to how we wanted it before and get the league table on. So we can get rid of this. We can get the league. Obviously, the league table is fairly meaningless at the moment, but that as a if we then swap that for we'll leave that as the Alfreton stats. Where is it? Alfreton stats. We can make this Kettering stats. And then when it goes small, we still get to see our... there you go. That's fine, actually. Like that. I don't mind that at all with the league table still on there. Obviously, the league table doesn't mean a lot now, but it will mean more and more as the season goes on. But it is Alfreton trying to get an attack going, but Malden's there to intercept after the masterstroke to move him across to centre-back as the players were heading out for warm-up. But it's like, actually, you're taller than the others. You can play centre-back. Patterson is in here, plays it back to Edwards, who's got plenty of time to pick his cross, and that's exactly what he does. And Danielson Carvalho has his first goal to the club. We said it was all about getting the best out of him, and he's scored on his league debut. That's getting your best out of a player. Edwards and Patterson combining to do very well here. Edwards could have taken another 5 seconds picking that cross, but he really did take his time, picked the perfect cross. Carvalho arrives late, and that is 1-0 to Kettering. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Imagine if 2 different tactical decisions end up being the right decision in the same episode. You've seen the tactic change to get Carvalho into his best position. You've seen Malden move across to centre-back and play well so far. I'm all about the tactics this year. I mean, in the past, I've been transfer man, but these years, all about the tactics. I've become a tactical genius. Carvalho plays it all the way back to Perry, which probably wasn't the right move. Sheriff there finds Patterson. Patterson floats it over to Brandy. And I'm not really on board with crossing to a player who's not even in the penalty area yet. That feels like it's not really going to lead to a goal. And it's led to Alfreton getting a counter-attack going of their own. But Patterson's done very well to chase back, play the ball over the top to Sheriff. It's drawn their keeper off his line, who, to be fair, the keeper did very well dealing with it. If he doesn't come there, Sheriff's through on goal. It's just a shame he came, really, because Sheriff was a little bit slow to react to the ball coming over the top. And that's a poor attempt at an interception. I think that was Edwards at left back. It's just gone over his head. He's missed it completely misjudged it. And then it's pretty sloppy from there. I look at the goalkeeper and think he maybe should be doing a little bit better as well. If you look at the replay, the cross comes over. Edwards is just too close to his man, misses the header completely. No one's watching this guy at all. And then the goalkeeper, I don't know if he's wrong-footed there or what's gone on, but it's a pretty poor piece of goalkeeping and a pretty poor piece of defending, although Edwards is still sat there on a 7.2. Because apparently crossing for the goal is much more important than missing an interception to lead to the equaliser. I would say he's now made equal contributions at both ends of the pitch. I'm not going to do a gesture. I'm just going to say keep doing what you're doing. We'll be fine because we're away from home. We're supposed to be a team in a relegation battle. Alfreton are usually there or thereabouts with the relegation battle stuff as well. If we end up not losing, that's good for an away game on the first day of the season. We're not under any illusions that we're looking for a promotion this season. We're just looking to not get relegated and not get sacked. That doesn't mean we can start conceding goals, though. 2-1 down now. We started so brightly. This is because I started describing myself as a tactical genius, isn't it? We've been really caught out there. It's a ball over the top. I would say a slight suggestion of offside for their attacker, but unfortunately, it's again, don't have that VAR that we love so much. Right, we've got a chance for a long throw. Malden finds Brandy. That's a lovely throw. Carvalho's there, and we've had another move there that's got Carvalho into a good position. And unfortunately, he doesn't capitalise on it this time. Malden playing it back to Colin, and I think we are going to have to mix things up. We've not started this second half very well at all. We're going to demand more initially. Balls over the top to Sheriff. If we grab an equaliser here, suddenly it all looks a lot better again. All we care about is the scoreline. Sheriff once again showing that he's the man in possession of this attacking shirt. We might have got Spasov in, who's got all of that potential for the future, but 3 goals in 2 games for Sheriff means he's not just going to walk straight into the team. We've got a guy who's already in and scoring straight away, and that is worth its weight in gold at this level. We've had some beautiful strikers at non-league level in the past, and some that have just been incredibly frustrating. So fingers crossed, Sheriff's going to be one of the first. He gets away from his man there, but they've got someone in covering, and a poor piece defending from who's that? Moore. This is the problem of having a 5'8" centre-back, and we've been caught out there because of it. We have got the 2 new centre-backs who've just come in on loan, who, as soon as they're match fit, we're going to be looking to get them into the team. It was the one part of my summer transfers I wasn't that impressed with. The lack of real proper centre-backs. Like I say, the majority of them are kind of right-backs who can play there, particularly the 2 shorter ones. Alfreton are going down to 10 men here, I think. They have gone down to 10 men. Now that changes everything. We've got to go for this now, haven't we? Let's demand more. And let's have a look. Right, so what are they doing? Hold on, let's look at what they're doing first. I want to look at this. So they've gone to a 5-3-1. They're settling for the scoreline they've currently got. So we need to respond in kind and go and try and win the football match. What have we got on this bench that's going to help us go and do that? I think Ryan Fryatt is probably a man to bring on. 6'1", never really let us down for Kings Lynn last year. We bring him on for Asari, move more out to right back. We've now got 2 6-footers in at centre back. And we're going to also want to get Clark on, and we can do that by moving Patterson over to that side. Then Clark has to be a winger. Patterson can also be a winger. Okay, we'll play with 2 wingers. We're also going to go attack him. We're going to try and win the game. We don't know how many opportunities we're going to get to win football matches this season. So when one presents itself, we will look to take it. And we've been basically level with each other on XG in a game where we had the same amount of players. So now we've got one more. We've got to really go and try and win the match, haven't we? Final change. We are going to take off Boot, bring on Wooten, swap those 2 over because Perry is a natural box-to-box. Wooten played as the playmaker in the last game. And we are going... This is where I'd like to get creative, but it's not there anymore. We're going to fire them up for the final 10 minutes and hope that we might be able to sneak a goal. But it doesn't look like we're even going to get a highlight, are we? We made a few changes, tried to get some stuff done. We've got a throw here at the end, actually. There's a couple of minutes left on the clock, but it's a poor throw right into the hands of their goalkeeper who just pulls it out of the sky, and he's just going to hold on to it because he's very happy to pick up the draw here. And in fact, he's put it over the top and, oh, non-league. Oh, non-league. Don't do this to me. That's the most non-league goal you'll see all series. The goalkeeper wasn't wasting time. He was picking his spot. He waited for his man to get in position. He timed his run to perfection, caught our defence flat. We've got a high line in this gegenpressing system, and they utterly exploited it there. That hurt. Because I feel like we shouldn't have lost that game. And I think it might be a long first season while we wait for these new boys to bed in. We've got poor team cohesion. We're part-time, so we're only training twice a week. So we've got no hope of building that particularly quickly. And we don't really have any kind of tactical familiarity because we switched the tactic around at the end of pre-season. We'll retitle this series How Not to Play Football Manager. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. If you enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.